Hey people, and welcome to today's second video on my NumPy tutorial. In the first video we learned about definition of NumPy and how to install and import the library and its basic functions. If you haven't seen that video, I will be linking it in my description as well as in my info tab. Also, I would recommend you to start watching from the first episode so that you would understand each and every concept that goes on in the NumPy library, which would happen to be an advantage for you. So I'll just show you my YouTube channel. So here's my YouTube channel. My name is Weekday Coder, and I've just created my first video. That was just 2 days back, so I will be uploading approximately 5 to 6 videos. So please watch this video and keep on watching all the videos. Do not try to skip or something, because that would resulting in you not knowing certain modules, and that would cause a big problem. So I would suggest you to watch each and every video in sequence. Okay, so let me just go back to my ID. Okay, so today's topic is going to be on indexing. So believe me that you may know have watched the first video. So what does arise in your mind when you think about the word indexing? So for a common man who does not know anything about programming, who has no programming knowledge whatever, he would think the first thing about the word indexing is accessing. So that is the same thing that plays the role in programming. So if you know the basics of Python, then you would know that indexing is a method to access any element. So here it is as simple as accessing an item in an array, that is understanding the location of its position in terms of rows and columns. So basically we give two arguments, which is row or arguments or column, and the argument could be even more than two, like 3 and all. So ideal case situations, we give two arguments and we get certain information regarding the array item in the array, and we can access certain amount of arrays and print them out separately. So that is basically about indexing in arrays. Okay, so now we will understand how we do indexing and how is indexing performed in single dimensional array, two dimensional array, and three dimensional array. Okay, so firstly we need to import our function that our module, that I've already done. Import numpy as np, and let me just introduce a new variable, a dot np array. Okay, np array, and now let me just introduce a set of variables. That's my 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah. Okay, so now we have an array that is got 1 2 3 4 and 5 in our list. Okay, so let me just print that out and show you. Print a, and let me just run that. So now we've got 1 2 3 4 5. So okay, so if we want to learn indexing, we need to know how does indexing take place in arrays. So I just got an image to show you. So indexing in arrays works as such: your first number gets indexed to a value of 0, then your second number gets indexed to a value of 1, and your third number 2, and so on. So basically your indexing takes place to a number of n minus 1. That is your basic approach to indexing. Okay, so that's n minus 1. That was simple, and I've got my array printed. Now let's understand the ways of slicing and indexing an array. Okay, so first let me just introduce a comment, that is one dimensional indexing. Okay, one dimensional indexing. And now let me do the basic method of indexing. That's I just provide a single argument. Okay, so that will work as this: indexing a comma 2 and run. Okay, just let me delete this and run it again. So you see it's as simple as this. It just index 3. And why does 3 work? Because 0 gets indexed, 1 gets indexed as 0, 2 gets indexed as 1, and 3 gets indexed as 2. So that's basic approach to this. So in one dimensional array indexing, there's nothing much complicated. Okay, we've got another way to index in case you want to index many numbers at a time, right? So what you do is you just put your array variable name and you give a start index point to end index point. Okay, so I would give that 4 and let's run that. So let's ignore 3 because that was of the before example, and here we get a 3 and 4, 3 comma 4, that is indexing 2 and indexing 3, and indexing 4 won't get counted because it's always n minus 1 counting, right? So that's done. So we have done with our indexing of one dimensional array. Let me just hash this out. So one dimensional array is nothing complicated. It's pretty simple because there's nothing complex in it. That's why. So let's get to two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional indexing. Okay. So let me just, I've got my array here, and if you've seen my previous video, you know that you must specify a comma and indent it with close brackets. So because I had explained that in my previous video, and let me just put the brackets. And here we've got a new array. It's a two-dimensional array. Okay, so now in two-dimensional array, two arguments usually come up. One is our row and second one is our column, right? So let me first just basic print the array and show you how the input looks. What does it say? np.array ndd. Okay, I've given a wrong size, different size of array, and let me print that again. Right here, so it gives us the array 1, 2, 4, 5, whatever. Just ignore that. Okay, so now let's go back to our two-dimensional indexing. So what I'll do is first, I will show you. I will just print my array variable, and I will specify two dimensions, that's 1, 2, and let me run this and show you. Okay, so 1, 2 gives us 7. So what does this 7 mean? Let's understand. So 1 is playing as a row argument. So in our row argument, when we press 1, only the first row is getting enlisted, and then when we press 2 for a column argument, then the 0, 1 and 2, only 3 and 7 is getting included in arguments, and the common of both is 7. So 7 gets printed as a output. Okay, so that's one way of doing an indexing. I have another method of indexing, that's for 2D indexing to print a certain row. Okay, so that would work as this. So what you want to do is you just print your variable and you specify which row you want to print, and you place a comma, and after that you do not specify your second argument. You just leave it blank like how I've done, and let's print that and see. Okay, so let's just ignore 7, and here we get what did we print? We printed 1, space nothing. So we have got a second array, that's 4, 5, 7 and 8. So that is pretty much the basic way to index a two-dimensional array. Okay, let me show you one more thing. Slicing through a two-dimensional array for a column. Okay, so two-dimensional indexing for a column. Okay, let me just print my variable a comma, and now I'll just do the opposite thing, leave my first argument blank, and let me just give a second argument, that's 2. Why is it showing an error? Invalid syntax. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to put a colon. Yeah, so now just ignore all these inputs, just focus on the last one. Let me just zoom into it. Yeah, 3, 7. So 3, 7, let's see what did it do. It outputted the column 2. So a column 2 is, let's see over here, a column 2 is 3, 7, right? So it simply outputted our column 3, 7. That's pretty much basic way of indexing through a two-dimensional array. Now let's understand the indexing of a three-dimensional array. Okay, three-dimensional indexing array. Okay, so when it comes to three-dimensional indexing array, you always specify three arguments. Your first argument will be your argument deciding whether it is your upper dimensional array or your lower dimensional array. Don't worry, I'll explain you what does this upper dimensional and lower dimensional array mean. Your second argument will be your row argument, and your third argument will be your column. Okay, your column number. So let me just print this right down here, otherwise you may get confused what is going on. Okay, so let me just run this here, Control V. Let me get this also, print A. I don't want to confuse you, you would get confused otherwise. So now we've got a two-dimensional array. Let's get into another array and I'll explain you how this three-dimensional array work. Okay, let me just put another number. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 5 and 8. So that does not play an important role. Let's run this program again. A is not defined. Okay, let me just hash them out. Just give me a second. Yeah, now it looks pretty good. Let me run this again. And you see we have got an array. Okay, so that's basic way of printing an array. That's nothing thing we're doing. Okay, so now we'll understand how we index and slice through a three-dimensional array. Okay, so let me just print this. Now let me give my close brackets, and now I'll place 0, 1 and 3. Okay, let me just print this and I'll explain you what are my arguments about. Too many indices for two arrays, two-dimensional, but three indices indexing again. Correct. Okay, so I have to give another array 3, 5, 8, 10. Okay, so I've given 1, 2, 3, 4 arrays, which gives me a three-dimensional array. So that was what I wanted to explain you. If you input 3 arrays, it is still a two-dimensional array, but as soon as you give your fourth array, it gets represented as your third three-dimensional array. Let's print this. Okay, so I don't know what is this error about. Let me just check it out. Okay, so the fault in the problem error that was occurring meant that I was not returning equal number of numbers into my arrays. So all my arrays included 5 numbers, while this did not include 5, it included just 4 numbers. So I just added a single number. And also you have to remember that when you give a three-dimensional array, your indentation should include 2 close brackets on both the sides, right? It should indent 2 close brackets, and then only your array would work perfectly. You would not find any errors basically. So here's your three-dimensional array. And now let's understand the slicing through a three-dimensional array. So for three-dimensional array, slicing takes 3 arguments, right? So the first argument is your upper or your lower dimensional. Your second argument is your row, and your third argument is your column. So let me just show you that with a basic explanation. That's so I'll give my upper dimensional as 0. Don't worry, I'll explain you that. And my row as 1 and my column as 2. Okay, so that's it. Let me print A and show you my output. Oh, okay, I made a mistake. Let me just introduce a new variable B and print that here, and now let me run it. Okay, so here we get a already inputted array, that because we have been printing it here, and we get our number 7. So what is this number 7 exactly about? So let's understand that. So when I gave my first argument as 0, it ran through my upper dimensional array. So my upper dimensional array were my first 2 arrays, and my lower dimensional array is my last 2 arrays. So whatever number of arrays you've got which is greater than 4, you basically half it down, and the upper two arrays are your upper dimensional arrays and your lower two arrays are your lower dimensional arrays. Okay, so that's how it works. That's the theory behind the upper dimensional and the lower dimensional arrays. And your 1 is your row, that is my 4 5 7 8 3, that's my row, and my column is 0 column is your one column is 2 comma 5, and my third column is 3 comma 7. So from all the common, my output is 7, so that gets printed out here. Okay, so now we have done with all the three-dimensional arrays. So let me just show you some more tips and tricks of indexing and slicing through arrays, which can be applied to any dimensional array. So first is changing the values of a certain number, I'd say. So in changing the values of a certain number, so what does this mean? So example, if you have a number in your array, say we've got 8 over here. So what is its row? Its row is 1. And what is its column? Its column is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So it's indexing works as 0, 1 comma 3. Okay, so if we want to change it, what would we do for that? So I'll show you. So we'll just introduce a variable that we have already been calling, and we'll specify its row and column. So its row is 1 and its column is 3, and we would simply equate it to a new value that we want. So a new value, I'd say, is 40, and let's just print it. Okay, print A and run the program. Index is out of bounds. I just made some mistake. Let me just check that out. And run it. Just give me a second. What did I do? Three, two, one, start. Okay, so the error here is I given an input of a three-dimensional array. Let me just change that. I'm doing my work on a two-dimensional array, that's why it gave that error. Okay, so here we've got a two-dimensional array, and now we want to change its first row and second column, that's 8. We want to change that to 23. So we'll simply just specify its row, column, and equate it to the value that we want and reprint the function. And okay, that's still giving an error. Let me just change its index and try again. Okay, it's giving a problem for this. So let me just index this and run this again. So yeah, here you see it. You get 23 in your array. In your previous array there was 5, and it now gets replaced by 23. So let's do some more changes. Let's change the third column and the first row. That goes 23 comes here, so it replaces the number 8 in the function. Okay, so let's now, what if you want to change the whole row or a whole column? So that's also very simple. What you do is let me just hash out a comment. Okay, so I'll just say changing the value of a column and slash row. Okay, so what we do is let's say we want to change the first row to a different set of numbers. So what we do is, let's just say A and let's ignore our first. Okay, no, we'll do it the other way around. We will change a row first. So what I'll do is I'll give my first argument to 1 and ignore the arguments of a column, and we'll equate it to a new set of variables. So I'll give 2 comma 4 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8, and now let's just run this again and let's check out. So you see the difference here. The previous array had 4 comma 5 comma 7 comma 8 comma 3, and now the new array has a new set of numbers that we have implemented. So we have changed it, and that is the way it has come out. So now in case if you think how to change a row, you've guessed it right. If you just change the indexing of this. So what we do is in our first argument we'll leave it blank, and we'll say we want to change our second index row. So we'll just give a new values, say 2 comma 3, and let's print this and check it out. Okay. Okay, I forgot to put my colon. Always remember, while specifying for a row column, we have to always put a colon. So here you see our 2 comma 3 gets printed and replaces our 3 and 7. So that was pretty the basic explanation of how we did slicing through rows and columns, and how we access certain values through them. So with this, we are done with the explanation of indexing. Indexing is pretty simple and is considered to be a fundamental topic for understanding arrays. So I ensure you that you must understand the topic very well. Feel free to watch the explanation again if you are stuck on any tips, and if you need any suggestions or doubts you've got, just place them down in the comment section. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you understood my explanation on indexing and slicing, and if you like the video, do drop a like and subscribe to break the YouTube algorithm, and stay tuned for my next tutorial. Thank you.